Awesome. Hey guys, welcome back to BP Tips. I'm your host, Brother Pooh. And I don't know if you guys noticed from that little snippet earlier, but I did get a new camera and I'm testing it out, so you guys get to see it first here on this video. But as I promised, the very first game that we're going to be talking about and how to play is how to play Fishbowl. This is actually one of my most favorite games I like to play at house parties. This is probably actually our go-to. It's just one of the easiest to prepare. Maybe a little bit hard to explain, as I've learned in trying to logically and linearly explain how to play this game, especially in a video way. Most of my time is casual, so I just said kind of, you know what, whatever, I'm gonna make this video a bit more casual, as if I'm really talking to you. And I've decided that's kind of the background and insight as to why I did what I did in this specific video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and even if it is kind of all over the place, I hope it makes sense, but most of all, I hope you guys had fun and it was entertaining. So let's get started with the list. As promised, everything that you're gonna need is gonna be found in your everyday home. Number one, this is what you're gonna need. Just try to find something. Maybe you could get some paper out of the printer. Maybe you can find some paper that you've used, any scrap paper, anything like that. Anything will work as long as you're able to write on it. Now, number two, here we go. A pen. As I said before, you're gonna need to write it. Now, here's my tip to this. You're gonna need at least a few pens, because if you're gonna be playing with, let's say, about 10 people, each person is gonna need to write a lot of phrases or slips of paper, and it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna take a long time. But generally, what me and my friends do is we just share like 2 or 3 pens. Here's something that I don't tell them. I generally try to give out the pens to the people that are gonna finish first, and generally not the people that I know are gonna take a while. So I'm sorry for my friends. That is an inside tip that I've always had, but please forgive me. I probably won't be able to do this again, and I'm just gonna have to pass them out all randomly because all my friends do support me. Thank you if you're watching this. I know that if you guys don't slap me the next time you see me, that you didn't watch the video. So hey, oh well, whatever is good. Anyways, with that being said, let's move on to the third item. Ready, guys? And that is a hat. It can, this can be used as kind of a bowl. I know the video is called Fishbowl, so yeah, you're supposed to find some sort of bowl that's circular, round, or something like that that's really big. I've used cardboard boxes, I've used a cereal bowl, anything that you can find really to basically house all your slips of paper that's gonna be going around. And it's gonna be passed around, so a lot of hands are gonna go in, so to make sure you don't mind breaking it or ruining it per se. You never know when a lot of people are kind of just messing around what's gonna happen. So I usually don't like using hats myself because I only have hats that I like, but I usually just use like a bowl or anything like that. And finally, to our very last item. Ready, guys? And that is your phone. Hey, there's my little logo, some self-promotion right there. But anyways, guys, anyone should have this. Just choose anyone. I'm basically going to share with you how to basically strategize who should be timing, who should be checking to make sure no one's cheating, etc., as I have video clips that kind of explain the situation as we go along. So with that being said, that is the very last item. So let's go into trying to explain the game, okay guys? So here we go. Alrighty guys, I know this is a little change of scenery. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and now that I got a new camera, it all just mashed up perfectly within my timeline. So let's go. Ready, guys? Alrighty, guys. So we're actually going to be breaking down the rounds, but before we go on, I need to kind of give you some additional background information. Let's get started. So I'm going to give you a whole overview, and I'm going to share it again. Kind of breaking it down with certain examples that I've already pre-recorded for you guys. And then we're going to actually kind of talk about some tips and tricks I've learned towards the end. And then we'll end with a good mashup of our night together with friends. So with that being said, it's broken up into 3 rounds, right? And the first round is basically your simple, word gap. You're going to pick up a piece of paper from your hat, whoever's turn it is, and you're going to read that piece of paper, the phrase or words in your head, and you're going to basically try to describe that phrase or word or combination of words to your team
And then basically whoever your team, your audience or your teammates will basically just have to guess with what you're saying. So let's say the word is chicken. I don't know why I'm using chicken, but let's just say it's chicken. You would just say, bok, bok, who am I? And then if your teammates would then yell out chicken. And if you hear someone else say the word that's on that paper, you take that piece of paper and you put it beside you. And that is 1 point that you're going to get. And each round of each person's turn is only 1 minute long. The round continues for 1 minute, right? Your turn. And after your turn is done, it goes to the next person. And that person then, which will be your opposing team, will then have 1 minute to do the exact same thing. And you keep going around taking turns in that circle until all the pieces of paper are gone from the hat. Once that is over, you stop the timer on whoever person it lands on. As soon as they said the last word, you've gained that last point, and you count up all the pieces of paper from each team and you write it down on, just keep a score. So if team A has, we had 30 pieces of paper, right? If team A has 15, then team B will also have 15. But if team A has 20, the team B will have 10. And that is the first round. Remember, we have 3 rounds. So you combine all those points, and then whoever has the most points at the very end wins, right? So round 2, you start off with the person that you left off at. So if the last person in the first round ends up having 20 seconds remaining after receiving the last slip of paper and gaining that last point, he starts off the second round with the 20 seconds remaining. The second round, you basically put in all the pieces of paper, refold it up nicely, please, and you put it back in the hat or a bowl, and the person starts, and as soon as he reads the word, in that round, you cannot actually describe the word anymore. And now everyone generally has a good idea of what's going on and what words are in the hat. And that constant reminder is supposed to help you as the rounds go on, because it does get a little bit harder each round. In this round, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing charades. So if I get the word chicken again, I can't describe it anymore. No words, absolutely none. You basically have to, once you read it, you just do that, and then someone else will be like chicken, because they know that chicken is part of the word set, right? Or word list. So same thing, same style. You keep going until you get as many words. And then once the timer runs out, it goes to the next person, and they start back at the 1 minute timer. This way it stays fair and stays consistent, and it keeps going, and everyone gets that 1 minute that gets to go. So you keep doing that in the second round. And the third round, the very last round, when you read the word chicken, you can only say one word. So no motions, no acting out, and no describing what the word is. All you can say is one word to get someone on your team to say what is on that piece of paper. And if the word is chicken, you would just say bok, right? That's a good way to describe chicken. Or you can say fried. I don't know. Just use your creativity, and basically, hopefully, someone else will be able to understand you, and you will move on. Now, there's a lot of nuances that hopefully I'll be able to explain as we move on to the next section of it, kind of going deeper into each round. Okay, guys? So here we go. We're going to basically switch back to that transition where we're showing here. So the way that I would recommend laying out this game is, as you see here, this is team 1, team 1, team 2, team 2. And we're all sitting around a circle, and just pretend there's about 10 of us. Just imagine it. There are 10 of us. But basically, you see the person here. She is reading the piece of paper, and the person to her immediate right, her right, our left, is looking at her piece of paper. Mind you, this man, this good-looking gentleman, is on the opposing team, so he's able to look straight at that piece of paper to make sure that she is not going to be saying or doing something illegal in this game. So if the word is chicken and she says chick, that is actually a strike, and she gets to skip her turn. In each round, each person gets one skip. If they see the word and they don't want to describe it, they don't want to act it out, or they can't think of the one word, whatever round you're in, each person can skip one time. However, even though you don't have a skip and you do a strike or you do an error by actually saying a part of the word or saying the word or acting or, maybe saying 2 words in the last round, it automatically skips your turn and it goes to the next person, which is in the opposing team. And they are going to actually start over with the timer of 1. They get to start their turn normally. So, as you can see, this person is looking at the piece of paper, and the other side, the other opposing team member, is having his phone and starting the timer. The reason why it's placed out this way is because since if he were to see the words, it would go to him next, and he would know what kind of words that she put on top of the hat because either she skips it or she doesn't get it or something along those lines. You don't want to give that type of opportunity to the opposing team. So you always have the person that's going to go it needs to go full circle before the other person to your right, our left, is able to even guess what kind of paper she was saying. And then the other person is doing the timer. So then once the hat moves to this individual, she will be the watcher and make sure that there's no illegal action said or done. And then this gentleman right here to this gentleman's right will actually be starting the timer. This is my tip and suggestion when playing this game. And that way, not one person always has to do the timer, and there's always an opposing team member doing the judging of their opposing team. We are actually preparing. We split up the pieces of paper. Each person has 3 pieces of paper, right? And those 3 pieces, they each have weird pens, and they're gonna write in basically up to 3 words. So here's the thing, guys. Up to 3 words. So you can do 1, you can do 2, or you can do 3. Don't do I want a chicken as an example. That's 4 words because is also a word, guys. So if you want to do 3, but you really want to do that phrase, you can say I want chicken, and that will match your criteria. And like I said, it says up to 3 words. So you can just say want chicken to be 2, or you can just say chicken for 1. But please make coherent words and don't go off base. But if it's very well known, like let's say BP tips, that could be considered as 2 words because BP is considered 1 and tips is considered 2. But I leave that up to house rules for that. Okay, guys? So whoever's facilitating this game, you guys decide. If you guys want to go easy and just start with the basics, actual, coherent, and legit words, go for it. And if you want to experiment later on, go ahead and start putting in some other words. But make sure you make the requirements very clear for everyone in your group. Because whenever I say up to 3 words, a lot of people don't understand that and they start putting 4 or 5. Now, in the case that they do put more, I leave it once again up to house rules, whether or not you want to keep that in there. Because generally, if you say it's fine. So with that being said, let's move on to what these guys are doing. As you can see here, my buddy over here is actually about to write on his pieces of paper. So there goes my Siri. So let's move forward. You see all these people basically writing in their little slips of paper. They're cutting the pieces. They're all thinking, etc., right? So they're all putting it in. Now, let's go towards the end where I believe I am at. So as you guys see here, I'm writing 1 word. Do not judge me on that word. It was just common. It was just an inside joke that my friends and I were having at the time. But as you can see here on the top left corner, there's a hat. We found just a small hat, and like I said, you can use it. This is what at my friend's house, and he's already shaking, mixing it up. So with your piece of paper, write once again 1, 2, or 3, up to 3 words, guys. Now, once you're done, as you see here, you're going to basically fold that piece of paper up. My suggestion is 1, 2, and then you're good. The next piece of paper, I actually, let's see. I think I write 3 words, right? So if we move forward, so I said, give me kith. Now, like I said, kith is not actually a word, but it's kind of like saying give me kiss, but in a weird kind of weird way just to be funny. It's another inside joke of my friends. So as house rules, we said that that's okay because we all knew what we're trying to talk about and we can explain it. That's very hard to do when your whole group isn't kind of on the same page as your inside jokes. So I would maybe try to stay away from those if it's maybe a new group or etc. like that. So as I said, that's up to 3 words. Give me Kith. And I folded it up once again, 1 and 2, and then put it in the hat. Once you get 3 of those pieces of paper done, you put it all in the hat and you mix it. And I would multiply that by the amount of people that you have. So if it's 10, you should have 30 pieces of paper in that hat. A good way to know if everyone is done is just to count the pieces of paper before you start the game. That way you know that everyone has 3 pieces of each pieces of paper in there, or they don't, and either someone misplaced something or didn't think of something, or they could be trolls and they ended up putting 4 or 5 pieces of paper, which has been done before. So this is going to be an explanation of round 1. I'm sorry I kind of skipped it, and it's already really late and I'm really tired, so I'm going to just try to edit this into a way that it fits well. So hopefully it works out okay. But as you can see here, in round 1, we're actually just doing word gap, which means you're just describing the word without actually saying the word. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a little bit. But as you can see, just to reiterate, the person immediate to the person's turns right is making sure that he knows what phrase or word it is so that the opposing team cannot cheat or do anything illegal. This is what you should do. And if you have this competitive environment, you will have a very fun time. With that being said, the person I know to our immediate left should also be taking the timer, but you have flexibility. Sometimes people want to focus or someone else may have volunteered. So my tips are always just tips. You guys should just learn, go with it, and just have fun. So let's see how this kind of game plays out and see how it turns out.
David's Discord name, and then lifting. Is the last part of David's Discord name?
Senpai.
And then the first part.
Somebody carry me?
Yeah, and then yeah.
So in that moment, they finally got it. But yeah, so you just have fun with it. That's a good way how things turn around. So let's move on to the next part. Okay, guys. So when you were actually talking about this part specifically, this is going to be the second round. And in the second round, you're going to see the guy in the middle who's basically going to be acting it out. Remember, the second round is charades. So the first round was just explaining it and describing it within words without using the word. Second round is actually going to be them acting it out. They can't say any words at all, but they can point. So if the word is a cup, and you can point at a cup if it's around you, or if the word is a person, you can actually point at the person within the group so that people understand that the word that you're looking for is a name. But in this specific case, you can be a bit more creative. And in this round, that's what we're trying to do. So let's try to see exactly how this is done. I believe this individual does really well in being creative and really going all out and showing how to charade it up. So let's see how it looks.
Wait, what?
So there we have it. I think it speaks for itself. So we're just going to leave that be, and we're going to move on to the last round. So here's my example, guys. This is going to be the third round. This individual, as you can see here, is his turn, and the person to his immediate right is the opposing team member, making sure that he's not doing anything illegal. And then this guy, as you can see here, is way too tired and has asked even though it is the same team member, to count for him. Maybe he's showing it to this guy, but who knows? Regardless, it's house rules. It's pretty casual. You don't need to make it super competitive, but I know all of you guys are. So in here, this individual is going to be saying one word. Let's see how it plays out. And this is the third round, remember. So here we go.
Organ.
See, he does a really good point there where he looks at the person when he thought he heard the right word. But he did a good job. Once you say one word, you cannot say anything else, or else it is an illegal action and he will be automatically eliminated from that round and that turn, and it must go to the other person. So he just simply must wait there. You cannot skip after you say a word because you've already decided to use that word. So if I had the word chicken, but I wanted to skip it, but I said the example of saying fried and no one can guess it was chicken, I cannot put that piece of paper back into the hat and choose up a new one because I've already initiated that specific word, and you only skip once. So if you want to skip, you have to make sure to not say anything, put it back into the hat, and draw a new word before you say another word. Alrighty, guys, I think I explained everything. If I didn't, I think I'm just going to redo the video and add certain things. So if you think I missed anything, go ahead and actually just write me a comment explaining it, and hopefully I'll be able to fill it out in like a Fishbowl part 2, explaining advanced tactics or tips or stuff like that I've learned, or it's probably not advanced tactics, but advanced tips of what I've learned kind of playing this game over and over and over again, and just understanding the best way to rule sets or house rules to make sure that everyone has a good time and everyone has that balance of trying to cheat a little bit, but also making sure that they don't, so that everyone has the maximum amount of fun and intimacy as much as possible. So with that being said, hey, thanks for stopping by BP Tips. I appreciate you guys being part of the BP fam. And as always, I also stream on Wednesdays on Twitch, and you're also going to see a lot of my socials down below. With that being said, I'm out. I'm tired. I'm going to edit this video and I'm going to go to bed. And today has been one heck of a week with work, but I wanted to pump this video out. So thank you for stopping by and watching. I know it was hopefully maybe all out of the it was probably all over the place, but I kind of wanted to kind of do this more natural feel. And if you like the video, go ahead and make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon if you'd like. Anyways, guys, have a good one.
What is the Japanese word for porn?
Hentai.
The first letter?
Pen.
Pen.
Whenever you're ready, tell me when you're ready. I will. Space. Complexity. Runtime? Get out the way. Harrison's favorite artist.
Travis Scott.
Dixon. My ears.
You're my hero. Yellow Flame.
I don't know.
This is so.
They just needed her, and that's why.
Actually, you said Nakamura. I grew up watching movies. I love him, and he's like the director for One Punch Man. So like.
What is your team?
Alcohol.
It's all secret.
Give me a kiss.